I lost my favorite pen. So what I did was I bought 3 new pens, 2 new inks, and we're going to check them out. For reference, this right here is the ink that I've been using for a very long time now. Maybe about halfway through the bottle at this point. But yeah, I lost my pen. It wasn't a very expensive pen as far as fountain pens go. It was about $10 to $15. These are direct replacements for it in 2 different colors that I wanted to check out. And this is sort of an upgrade. This is a $23 pen. It's the Pilot Metropolitan. So yeah, we're going to check them out. Important things to note about the pens. I'm not well versed in fountain pens. This is a fairly new hobby for me. I say it's a new hobby. It's not one that I've put a lot of time, effort, and money into, if I'm honest. These are Asvine Forest pens. I've got a matte black and a light blue here. And then, so this is like the first time I've decided to sort of try out an upgrade since I lost my old Asvine Forest pen. These are both extra fine nib, and this is fine nib. We're gonna see sort of, I guess, what I like, which one I have a better feeling towards. This is sort of just like me figuring out, more of what I want before I actually. I don't know that I'm ever actually going to spend a huge amount of money on a fountain pen, but as far as like hobbies go, it's an interesting one as far as I'm concerned. If there's like a good mid-range pen for a decent amount of money that isn't crazy, then I'd hope to pick one of those up someday. Unless I come into a lot of money, and then you'll see me walking around with a Mont Blanc. Pilot has a nice, though plasticky case. I see the pen isn't actually where it's supposed to be resting here, so that's cool. Apparently this comes with a converter, which is good because I usually refill my own. Ooh, it does feel nice. I do refill my own ink, usually. So there should be, I believe, a squeeze converter in here. Yes. So that'll be the first time I've used a squeeze converter. I've always used plungers before, because that's what comes with the Asvines. Yeah, honestly, it's a nice little pen. It's actually very plasticky feeling, which I don't know if I'm a fan of that. But again, for $20, it's, I'm sure it's very good. Ooh, the closing click is very satisfying. I'll give it that. And this is an experience I'm fairly, comfortable with. I know what to expect here. It's a metal case, but it's kind of like, it's very tinny. It's a nice little aluminum case. And there's the pen. Comes with a cheap plastic bag around it. But again, this is really like a very decent intro pen. There's not a lot of it. I mean, it's fairly Spartan. There's not a whole lot to it. It does have the plunger converter, which again, that's the one I'm used to now. So. And I know from experience that closing is very satisfying. It does loosen up over time, but I used my last pen for about a year, and it never lost it completely. I will say the paint on these does tend to flake. It gives it a very, a very noticeable patina, we'll say. If I have a picture handy of my old pen from before I lost it, then I'll put that up here. It is rather heartbreaking to lose a pen that you've, had for a year and traveled with and used not quite every day, but as close to every day as you can. So as much as I'm like replacing a pen, it's still a kind of a sad experience. I mentioned before that this is the ink that I have been using. I like it. It's a nice light blue color. And this is one of the 2 inks that I've picked up. It's from the same producer. It's just black because sometimes you need to sign things in black. And here is some new ink that I'm deciding to try as well. It's produced by Pilot, so I figured it would go good with my new Pilot pen. It's a little more expensive, a little more premium. It's honestly about twice the cost of the Waterman. I haven't had any problems with the Waterman in the past, so this is more of just that experimentation, finding, finding out what's different about them. We'll get this opened up here real quick. And I will tell you, the this glass jar is I guess Inkwell is what it would be called. It's really nice. It's got a very premium feel to it. Let's see how it sounds opening. And of course, it's just your standard black ink, so looks good. We'll get it loaded up into one of these here in a moment. And of course, the Waterman, it's taped shut, so I had to cut the tape, but it's a little bit more of a simpler opening experience. But there we go. Open the top here. I will say that I like the fact that the label on this one is in a bit better condition than the blue ink. It actually came like this, even though this is a year old. It's about the same. It was like folded down in the corner when I got it, so that was a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, you know, it sits on my desk and I refill my pens every once in a while. So I almost forgot to open the black pen. Oh, I ripped the box. Shame on me. It's gonna be the same experience though, except this one's in black. And again, there we go. Cheap plastic bag. Nice all-metal construction on these. That's one of the things I like about it. And that's one of the things I'm sort of surprised about when it comes to the Pilot, is how plasticky it feels. But again, until I really get hands-on time with them and feel how they feel, it's sort of a moot point. You know what I mean? So, but either way, I do love the way these look. I love the design of them. And they, again, this is the feel I'm used to, so I'm excited for that again. Okay, and here we have all of them lined up with the pens they're going into. So we've, believe it or not, color-coded this. That way I know exactly what I've got in my hand before I write. Makes sense, doesn't it? And there's the blue ink. I'm going to get a paper towel here because I know exactly how messy this can be. And often is. And I got my new pen right here. And we're going straight down in there. If you've never refilled a fountain pen before, it is a usually pretty straightforward process. I'm not getting anything though. Let me make sure this is on there tight. Sometimes the cartridge can be a little loose. There we go. And honestly, you do have to go back and forth a few times to make sure you've got a full reservoir of ink here. There we go. And from what I've heard, this is something that I'm kind of curious about. I don't know if this is true, but having a little bit of air gap here at the top is necessary. That's why there's a little spring inside, is to ensure that, I guess. So, and then once that's done, I'm just going to wipe that off the edge here. And then you just have to clean your nib. Which, you know, fairly simple process. Just clean it up a little bit. There you go. And maybe it just says a lot about who I am as a person. I've never managed to actually refill a pen without getting some ink on my fingers, but it's usually gone in a day or two. Just scrub your hands. Okay. Yeah, doing this on camera is a little weird, so I have definitely got more on my hands than normal. But there we go. That's all it takes. It's I find it a satisfying process, honestly. All right. Black ink. Now, I have not actually refilled black ink before, but, you know, it's going to be the same process. One thing that I like to do that I forgot to do this time was to clean off the top of the ink bottle here. It doesn't get all over your fingies. Black on black. One thing I just noticed that is sort of unexpected and upsetting is that cleaning this off is a little difficult with black ink on black paint, so bear that in mind, I guess. I will say one peculiarity of the design of this, or not even a peculiarity, but these ridges under here, they always collect a ton of ink while you're refilling, so like just taking it and pressing it firmly into a bit of paper towel to clean out all of those ridges is a good move. Otherwise you're going to have quite a mess on your hands. There we go. Pen 2 done. Okay, now for the fancy ink and the fancy new pen. Pen comes apart just the same way. I've already discovered that, so that's nice. Now, this is different from the plungers. You just literally squeeze this and it draws ink in when you let go. So, from the guides that I watched, because I'm a nerd, we first open this up. I'm gonna grab a fresh and clean paper towel here to wipe off the rim of the ink. Well, ooh, that is a very dark black. That's awesome. I guess it compares pretty similarly to the other one, so. All right, this one though, it's a simpler mechanism, I suppose, in some ways, because you literally just squeeze it. So you just push this down in here, and you'll see there's bubbles forming in the ink. You just keep squeezing until the bubbles stop. And I'm gonna do that off camera because I need to be able to see it. Okay, and then let's just clean up the nib again. I will say that I'm not crazy about the fact I can't tell how much ink is in here. I guess you just use it until it stops working and then refill it. So the other ones are nice because you can at least tell how much ink is left. There we go. So right there are my pens. My new ones. I guess I can do a writing test. I'm gonna forewarn though that my handwriting is not good. I enjoy writing with fountain pens. I'm not necessarily good at it. But either way, let me get some paper out here and we'll give it a shot. Okay, here's some specific pen paper. It's used for practicing calligraphy as far as I understand. So let's give it a shot. My writing is terrible. But this is, when they say an extra fine point, they mean it. This is, you know, incredibly pointed. So I'm also going to point out there's a couple different things at play here. I'm not exactly in a great writing position. This is me coping. This is what copium is, I believe. So far, they all feel really nice. Again, I've had these pens in the past, so I know how they feel. Honestly, I do like the slightly broader tip of the Pilot. It feels really smooth and nice. I don't really have great handwriting, like I said, and also I'm writing really big in this, which seems to exacerbate how bad it can be. If I think of it and have the time, I'll do a proper writing example here on lined quality paper and everything. So, yes, I've basically spent the same amount of money on 3 pens that I could have spent on one higher quality fountain pen, but these are everyday use pens for me. I carry them with me, I use them frequently, I like to journal daily when possible, so these aren't pens that sit on my desk and I specifically go and sit down at my desk to write things with it. These are pens that go with me, and every time I have something that's important to me, or something interesting, or if I just need to spill my brain onto the page for a little while, that's what these are for. These are purely utilitarian. Someday I would love to have a very expensive pen that I can sit down at my nice desk and write with, like specifically there. But that's not exactly something that I have right now. So, I'm more than happy with them at this point. It's just good to have these familiar pens again, just because that's what I'm used to. That's what I've known. And honestly, I do like the different feel of the Metropolitan so far. I have a feeling I'm going to be using it quite a bit, honestly. So if you enjoyed my weird little pen video of me just, setting up a few pens, then I guess hit the subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Honestly, if you have thoughts about this and you have like any insightful knowledge that would help me, let me know, because I'm not spending a lot of time or effort in the fountain pen purchasing world right now, but it is something that I have enjoyed already. Like I said, I had one of these Asvine Forest pens, and I used it for at least a year straight before I heartbreakingly losing it somewhere along the line. I had the green one before, and I really loved it. So yeah, if you have any cool tips, ideas, thoughts, anything like that, just let me know down in the comments below. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Also, I'm going to be really honest, I really wanted to play with the log setting on my new phone, so this was just like a cool video I could throw together to sort of play with that.